Alright guys, it's Ross again. Back along I did an unboxing video for a Star Wars Legion unit called the Royal Guard. Now these are the red guys that hang around with the Emperor in the films, his loyal bodyguard. I've played them in a few games at the local club and I think they've done quite well. They're not bad with their black dice pistols. And pretty good in combat. I like to put tenacity on them. They do pretty well, apart from Boba Fett the other night made 9 saves, which we will go into, but hey ho. But yeah, these guys I'm going to paint up. They're a fairly basic colour scheme, majority red, so I thought I'll get cracking. Now the first thing is, I've removed any mould lines that I could see. And the next thing you'll notice, there's a little bit of green stuff right there. So where the front cloaks meet the rear, they needed a little bit of attention on every single one. Not a lot, just enough to fill in a little bit of a gap. And yeah, there's a little bit of excess green stuff there. You could wrap it up in some greaseproof paper, cover it with some vegetable oil or something, just to keep it moist. Giggity. So it doesn't go off, but no, I decided to use it on the base because I'm hopefully basing all of these guys and any other Star Wars Legion model that I have with an Endor style base. So if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll see that I went for the Endor because I was 50-50 between that and a snowy Hoth base, because I've got snow troopers, so snowy base, and I was thinking Endor for my speeder bikes. So I'm doing my whole army Endor, but the snow troopers, I'll probably go with snow. It's not quite right, is it? I don't know. So thoughts and comments on that, because I would like to do a whole uniform army, all the same base, but I didn't know what to do. If you can help me at all, please leave a comment below. So I'm about to prime these guys up. I'm going to get some grey primer on them, zenithal highlight, and then come back to you and see what I'm going to do next. Okay, so I've done a little bit of zenithal highlighting. So after I've primed it all grey, just like the top third maybe, dry brush a bit of white, and a little bit on the force pike on this guy as well, because I want maybe some like electric-y blue colours to be shone off of that. But yeah, each one of them just like that. Nothing too fancy, just a little bit of a dry brush. And I'm going to try to do the opposite on their feet. So just a little bit of black with the airbrush, bit of black paint, not a lot, just a tinge. Right, getting the old airbrush on. Right, and gloving up for once, which is a good idea for me. Right, okay, so it's working fine. Just a little bit. Just inside there maybe. Just like that, not a lot. In fact, probably a little bit less than that. Just the feet basically. These weren't on the bases. I'll be doing underneath their cloaks as well. As there will be a lot of details, fairly simple models to paint, should be fine. Okay, once they are dry, I will then start with the reds. So giving it a damn good shake. I'm going to go with this Vallejo Scarlet Red. I was about to read that. That's great. So I'll get a little bit in the bowl and wait until these guys dry. Okay, now those guys are pretty much dry, I'm going to start hitting it with the red. So, even coverage, fairly light with these guys. Remember, as per always, with an airbrush, hit the hardest to reach places first. Right inside the cape. And then do all the easy bits. So, if you haven't got anywhere, don't put too much on. Just wait until it dries and hit it again. Don't keep adding and adding and adding and adding paint. The idea of an airbrush is to keep it nice and thin, light coats, nice and smooth. There's the first guy. Just rinse and repeat. So awkward to reach places first. Just inside there. So I'm liking these guys on the battlefield. Not only are they pretty good in close combat, they got 2 shots each with the pistols, which aren't bad because they're using black dice. But they also have Guardian as well, which means they can take wounds off anybody within 1. Take it on their armor save instead, which is quite nice. But they are a bit pricey compared to your basic trooper. So unless the trooper's got like an objective or something, you want to keep them alive, maybe worth just letting them die instead. Because these guys are, like I said, a bit expensive. But they do look flipping cool. Not like Cool Winds games, but it does look pretty boss on the table. I mean, imagine if the Emperor was rocking up the table a couple of these guys, a couple unit size of these guys. It's pretty menacing, huh? Right, so I'll crack on with this unit. Wait till it dries and hit it with a lighter colour. Okay, so I've put down the red scarlet on the Royal Guard. Next thing is this red. Bloody red. Once again from Vallejo. So I've never painted these guys before. I'm going to do it live on camera, see what I think, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to like this red. Move these guys out of the way. Get some overspray on there and they'll be happy. Not. So far, this is what they look like. So it should be darker at the bottom. I'm just going to do a bit lighter on the top. I haven't got my gloves on now, which is going to be a bad idea, isn't it? So you can already see it's starting to pick up a bit there. Kind of want to get the shoulders bit there, top of the chest. Make them brighter on top. Maybe a little bit on the boot, perhaps. And a little bit there. Nothing too much underneath the tabard. Possibly like that. See what it looks like when it dries. I can always add a little bit more. Right, another one. See if I can get my hands looking really red. Right. Okay. So definitely not going underneath, doing about 45 degrees from above, kind of like the zenithal highlight. Alright, see how that gets on when it dries. Same trick again. Now this being airbrush, it's quite thin, so you got a bit of a transition between the colours. So I don't really know what it's going to look like until it dries, but I'll probably do the cloak about halfway down. See what it looks like anyway when it dries. He's gambling. He's doing it on camera. Okay. Like I said, we'll come back when it's all dry and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I've put 2 coats of the brighter red where I wanted it, so give it a bit of a transition. Next I'm going to use a little bit of GW's Carabao Crimson Shade and do exactly what it says in the bottle, shade. So I've got a fairly fine brush and I am going to try to shade the model. So go into the darkest areas first. That's where I'm putting this stuff on heaviest. And now I'm just bringing some detail into the edges. So there's a good little step between the boot and the cloak, and the boot and the material for the trousers. Like so. And anything in the shadows underneath the cloak, using this Carenberg a lot heavier. So. To hopefully show you the shade. Touched a little bit of red there, get rid of that. Okay, so I also want to go and make a bit of a contrast between the light and the dark areas, make it pop a bit more, Any recesses I think should be a bit darker. For example, on the helmet there. So here is too much of a blend, so what I'm going to do is put it quite heavy on initially and then work my way up so it's lighter. Put it on heavy, work my way up lighter. A bit like that. Okay, that's not bad. Same on the back. Obviously there's a lot of ripples on the cloak on the back. So I'm personally going heavier to lighter this way round, but whatever effects that you want to go with. Wipe off the excess there. Darker to lighter. Darker to lighter. Get rid of a little bit of the excess there. Okay, that's not bad. Now I'll get cracking with the next lot. So I want these guys to pop a bit more. So the red's okay, but it's a tad flat. Now the airbrush red is very vibrant, but it takes a long time to bring up the layers with a brush. So what I'm going to do is get some, see this red is quite nice from GW, but the old school red from GW is a little bit brighter. So I really struggle to find a red that's as vibrant. Like the Astaroth red is a bit too pinky for me. But getting the old makeup brush, working it in a bit. Let's see if I can bring these guys up a little bit more. Because these guys are the Royal Guard. They're supposed to be bright, bright, bright red. Now, that's pretty bright, isn't it? So once again, I'm not doing all the way to the bottom. I'm bringing them up a little bit, so side by side, should see a little bit of a difference between the two. That looks a little bit shinier for a start, but nope. Do a couple of layers of this, maybe. Because I want them to stand out a little bit on the table. You know, they're supposed to be the Royal Guard. It's supposed to be a bit fancy. Okay, I'll keep adding a bit of that. Come back when I'm done. Okay, so now some of the black detail. For this I'm using GW's Bad and Black. Let's get a nice point in my brush. And just, normally I don't like painting black like straight at the bottle, true black. But if I look at any pictures of these guys, their visors are truly black, almost glossy in fact. When it comes to the gun, oh great, my neighbour's using a chainsaw. Hopefully he's cutting down trees, not murdering people, but you know, you never know. I live in the sticks after all, people. I can't hear any screams with it, so it can't be that bad. Okay, so the pistols I'm going to paint black and edge highlight. And in any pictures that I've seen, there's a little bit of black in the staffs. And the rest is like a brilliant, almost chrome silver. So I'll finish off any of the black. So visors on all, any pistols, and a black handle. I'll come back out after the chainsawing stops. Okay, so what I've done is painted the staffs. Now I was going to go with a silver, but I thought it's quite a white silver in the pictures. So I've gone with a bit of Dawnstone, and I'm going to highlight it with white and bring out some of the detail. When it comes to the Electrostaff, I've gone all silver, all grey, sorry. Do the same, and also the lightning in the pictures. It's like a purpley lightning. So I'm going to probably drop some white in the recesses on the ends, and then put a nice purpley wash or something in there. Build up maybe a bit of light shine off his cloak. That's where I am so far. So on top of the black, I actually put a very, very, very dark grey. I'm going to start bringing out the edge highlights possibly, because there's not a lot of detail on these guys really, is there? So I might as well start finding some and pick it out. So I'll start picking out the white on the staffs and then come back to you. Okay, so on each one of the staffs I've done a little line of Celestial Grey, a very light grey, almost white. A few little edge highlights there. Underneath with each staff, a bit of a blue wash, very dark blue wash to give a bit of a metallic-y shadow. And on the bases of each one, it's currently drying, and when it dries, a little more like earth. But I've used two Citadel Technical paints. So the Sterling Mud for obviously the mud-looking stuff, and a bit of this stuff to make the occasional bit of stone underneath the mud. So I've put that on first, and then the mud on top. So that there was a lump of green stuff, and I put a little bit of the aggregate on there as well. So when it dries, it looks more stony. Now you notice on top of the Electrostaff I've put a little bit of a purple wash, which is nice, little hint, but it's not quite bright enough. So what I'll do now is I'll mix up a purpley colour, fairly bright, put it in my airbrush, see what it's like. So it's quite a pinky colour. So the idea is it's going to be a bit pinky initially, and then I'll put the same purple wash over the top. I want to do a bit of background glow, so I've got a little bit on there as well. Nice and controlled. So a little bit on the leg. A little bit underneath. So the idea is it's just catching the cloak. And his leg a little bit there. So just catching there. And just there a little bit. Right, now when that dries, I'll hit it with the same purple wash again. Because I wasn't quite happy with how bright it was. Okay. Reasonably happy with that. And all the other staffs, like I said, got a little bit of the lighter silver treatment on the top. Just on one side. Metallically blue on there. And that was the edge highlights I was talking about for the pistol. So just a little hint, just on the top and on the edge there. Okay, so once the base is fully dry, I will then apply the tufts and a little bit of moss and a few twigs, like the rest of my Star Wars Legion bases. And I'll paint the black edging. So now the Electrostaff is dry, I'm going to put one of the old school GW washes on. So just a little bit on there. Just to see if I can tone down a little bit. Just on the recesses. Just like that. And see what it looks like when it dries, but that's kind of what I'm after. Okay, I'll finish that off. And I'll do the same on the other one. Okay, so pretty much the final stage now. Just going to paint the edge of the bases. So my whole army is going to look the same, with black rims on the base. I just think it kind of frames it. But whatever colour you want to do the edge of the bases, that's totally fine. The only thing I would recommend is making them all look pretty much the same. Nice and uniform. I might have to do 2 coats of the Abaddon Black. Yeah, that's basically what the guy looks like. So I'll base them all, I'll take some pictures, and that is my Royal Guard finished, all ready for a bit of hot tabletop action guarding the Emperor.